Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access. This is our 13th episode, and I've done a whole bunch of work on the base. We're nowhere near complete, but I want you guys to. I figured I'd take you guys on a little tour and let you see what's happening. So one of the things I've done is I've got now partial walls started along both sides of our bridge, and I realized I have a problem with this design, so I have to make some changes to my plans. So ordinarily, or initially, my plan was to have this be quote-unquote a sky bridge, use it to bring stuff in, and as you can see, with things on the walls, we can easily drive down the middle, so this is quite nice. But I realized there's a problem. Have you seen the problem yet? What happens as I'm driving down here? What happens if I want to turn the truck and go that way? Well, I can't because there's a belt in the way, right? So ordinarily I would use something like this for both transport of products and movement of myself. But that's actually going to be impossible. So there are a couple of potential solutions. One is, as I mentioned in an earlier episode, you could build, see if I can show you this, you could build sort of where each of these metal walls is, we could build a pillar going down to the ground. And underneath there, we could suspend underneath, let me just get off here and I'll show you. We could suspend some conveyor walls. So the idea would be, I gotta do this, I can't afford it, but the idea would be to put conveyor walls like this underneath. So you see where that one is, where it's facing vertically, right? You put it down underneath here. And we could stream 6 rows, right, 3 and 3, along the bottom. And then we would just leave the upper part to be essentially a tunnel, right? The problem with that is that I'm not sure I like the way that looks. We're going to have to put pillars no matter what to show support, for there to be structural support. But I'm not too thrilled with that option. Let's put it that way. And I am not going to be able to get back up, am I? Can I get up with this thing? Yeah. So yeah, I have to do some thinking about how I want to do that. I could either make the sky bridge underneath here, but I don't think that'll work because this is level with the floor of the factory. So I could either make the sky bridge below here and this be the part that transports, or I could make this level the part that transports and then put a level above here, which we could then use for driving trucks and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it, but there's a flaw in how I was designing this. We could also just make the belts be on one side, and that's possible too. Now, as you can see, we've got belts moving on both sides. The left you already saw, that's the limestone. And the right-hand side is Caterium. And I've also built another layer of conveyor supports all the way down above this layer that's this set of limestone. And the reason I'm doing that is because I ran out of the metal, reinforced metal to make the Mark II belts, but I got it over to here. As you can see, this upper level is going to be the next set of limestone coming in from our original base. So I've got to bring that back as well. And so you can see, look at the Caterium coming all along. I really love this when you're like belting from a huge distance. I just think it's super cool to do. Now eventually some of this is going to turn into, this is all going to be redone when we get trains, and we'll have the trains going long distance and dropping things off. And so then we may be able to redesign the sky bridge yet again. So I'm not sure exactly how this is all going to work. But if we stop here, come here. If we stop here, we can get off and see that I have the Caterium coming in from over here. So I made a little platform here, and there was some spawning going on, so I put a bunch of buildings. Hopefully that's enough to prevent the spawning. It looks like it is. So here's a Cateria mine. This is a pure node. So even with a Mark 1 miner, we're getting 120 coming out. And this is our buffer. There's tons of Caterium in there. And then I've got a workshop and a crafting bench in case I want to craft something in this location. Probably won't. So this is going to become another one of these sort of sky bridges. And see, I had another issue here, right? I had that one running on this side, and then I realized, oh, I'm not going to be able to get out. So I realized that here, but I didn't realize it for this larger bridge. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do. Now, we could potentially run the Caterium along this side. You just bring it underneath and pipe it up. But if we just do one side, we can only get maybe 5 or 6 belts total, which is about the same as we could do if we're running it underneath. Although if we run it underneath, we could do multiple layers. So I'm just not sure how I want to do it. The most important thing is getting everything over to the main base, and we definitely want to do that as soon as possible. And the main reason I'm running back there now is because I ran out of concrete, and I started running out of metal and other things because I've been doing all this building. I still need to, at some point, get down below and cut this tree that's sticking up from the bridge. The other thing you can see, by the way, as we pass the tree over there, is I've started building some supports, and I'm still working out how I want it to look, but I think I've got a look that I kind of like with the framework from the open-ended foundations, and then a base of a couple of walls high. So you can see it there. I think that looks pretty good. I think it looks like these platforms are reasonably supported. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the inclines, in particular with the walls, because the walls aren't, like, you can put them in, but I'm not sure what they're going to look like from the side if there are walls on the inclines. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to play with that and keep working on the design until I get something that I'm happy with. So this belt that you're seeing going all the way back to our original starter base, this belt is going to bring the two different areas of limestone that we have here. It's going to bring it back all the way to the new base. And you can see we still have the power cords out there that are still going all the way back to the next base. Those power cords are going to need to be brought onto the sky bridge, but I need to figure out the design of the sky bridge first before we do that. So I brought the truck back here in parts so that we can use the, oh, we have some reinforced plates here. We can use the sort of the inventory of the truck to bring more stuff with us. And one lesson I learned the hard way is make sure you keep a couple of each thing with you, because at one point I was up there when I was trying to build the Caterium mine, I had all the concrete, the truck had all the metal, and I couldn't pick up any metal to build what I wanted to build. Like, I wanted to build a storage container to throw stuff into it, and I didn't have any metal and rods, and I couldn't pick that up from here because I didn't have any space in my inventory. And what I ended up having to do was just build a whole bunch of foundations until it gave me a spot of inventory. So you just got to be careful with that and make sure that you have a little of everything. So we're going to need some more of these guys. We're starting to run out. Hang on, I didn't want to do that. 2, 3. We're starting to run out because it's just not making them that fast. And I've got a whole bunch of metal going. We're making ingots at the base from the pure nodes that are at all the way at the base, but I have not yet added the constructors and the assemblers that we're going to need to run everything, so to make all the products we want to make. So that's just going to take a while, guys. There's nothing you can do about that. Alright, so that's a bunch of concrete. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is, again, have the bottom floor be just resources, the next floor be the smelted stuff. And so I've started building the next floor just to get the smelters on there. But, yeah, it's just gonna take a while to get all of that. It's gonna take a while to get all of that worked out. Alright, so let's get some more metal plates. And some more iron rods so that we can build other stuff. No, I didn't want that much. I'm hitting control instead of shift. That's enough. We have cable. I think we have enough cable and wire. We should be good on that. And then more concrete. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. So we got to hook this up. And the question is, how am I going to hook it? So I need to have the limestone coming out this way. And then what they're actually going to probably do is go through the side here, because I don't think it's going to work to bring it through the entrance. If we do that, then there won't be room to fit the vehicle in. So I think what I'm actually going to do... Oh, and I'm going to have problems here because I don't have room in my inventory for any of this stuff. I'm actually going to have it bring it in... I think about here. Right. The reason being that that'll give me the ability to drive the truck in and then turn it, right? Because these are going to be the entrances, right? And the idea is to do something like this so that, you know, it looks like an actual entrance. If that works. So, so we're going to need a merger before this. We're going to need to bring the limestone over this way. And then we're going to want to move it up, right? And then that will go all the way down and meet up with the limestone in the other, like at the other base. And then wherever this comes in, okay, so that's going to be a problem. This one actually... This should be the iron. And then the limestone So I got to think about this because I'm not going to be able to bring the lower one in. Let's see. We actually no. That might not work. So let's see. So I just got to work this out, guys. Well, this takes a few minutes. Yeah, so that's too close. Alright, so let's try this again, and we'll do this a little bit cleaner here. That and this, right? And then if we bring this one up, and this one over, there should be room. Yeah, that looks fine. Actually, can we put... So we could put this here, but that's too low and that's too high. So we'll just leave it like this, I think. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. How about that? How about that, guys? That is perfect. Look at that. I love it. And it leaves exactly room to bring this one in. Alright, so what I gotta do is work my way back to the two limestone mines and then bring them forward, and I will bring you back when I have figured out how to do that. I will be right back. Alright guys, I think I've got it worked out. This is our original limestone mine, and we have a sky bridge coming all the way across. And we're not going to go through this mess. We're going to shoot over to that limestone mine. We're going to merge up, and then we're going to bring them over that way. And so I've got a sky bridge going all the way around. One of the reasons I made it this high, well, partly, you know, we have this area here, we're just barely above it, right? But another reason I made it, and I've taken down some constructors and stuff as we go here, but another reason I made it the height that I made it is because I want to be able to drive the truck under it on that side. One of the issues that you can run into making all these bridges is you don't want to block the movement of the truck so that it can't get from one side of your base to the other. The only other option would then be make ramps going over it, which is kind of awkward. So what we're going to do here is we're going to build a conveyor belt. Now this one is going to just go down the middle because I'm not going to really use this sky bridge for long distance transport. It's just for getting the limestone over to the main bridge, which is then going to be used for transport and everything else. So what we have to do is get the limestone from down there to up here. And so we're going to put our conveyor wall right there, right? And then what we want to do is delete that. Well, no, not the power line. Delete that. And we're going to turn this around. So we're going to move this so that it faces this way. Like that. And then we're going to put a lift here. Now the thing with lifts that drives me absolutely nuts, and I don't know if you can leave a comment if there's a way to fix this. If you put the lift in here like this, it always starts from going in to going out, and that's the reverse of what we want. And I don't know of any, if you right click it, it deselects it. If you scroll the mouse, it just turns it around. Shift scroll doesn't do anything. So I'm not sure how you would get it to reverse with the mouse. But what I normally do, and I usually put these every 5 foundations. What I do here is I put a conveyor belt going the way I want, starting there to ending there, and then the lift will sense that this is going this way and it will arrange it in the correct direction. Now we're using a Mark 1 belt here and Mark 1 lifts because the that's not super pretty actually. Let's turn this one more, see if we can get a little bit nicer line. Like that. It's still not very pretty. What I wanted to do is kind of go at right angles, but it's not going to do that, is it? Let's see. So let's put this kind of, maybe do it this way. Go up one. And then, no, that's her hideous. Alright, I guess it'll just be a little ugly. Let's try to aim it better. I know I'm being super picky about this, but I guess that's alright. So now we're going to be moving the limestone along here, right? And so now we only need the Mark 1 belt right now because let's go ahead and do this every 5. 1. Where are we here? That's 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, and then we will go that 2 this way and 2 this way. Right. We only need Mark 1 because these limestone mines are only bringing in 60 at a time. And then when it merges up, we'll do the Mark 2, and they'll be moving at 120 at a time. Now, eventually what's going to happen is we're going to get Mark 3 belts and Mark 4 belts and Mark 5 belts and all of that. But for right now, we don't have those. So the way I did this, right? I like to make sure it's kind of belted into, or hooked into rocks and stuff so that it looks like we've got structure. Obviously I'm going to come through and put supports underneath like I did over there with the frames so that it looks more supported. But right now I just want to get these limestones to the base. And then we're going to do essentially the same thing with the iron. Once I get the iron at the base worked out, and the limestone at the base worked out, and the caterium at the base worked out, I'm going to come back here. And I'm just going to let these iron mines go for now, but I will come back here and bring all the iron to the base as well. And you can see we're bolted into this rock as well. Let's put a little bit more in there just so it's a little more supported. And then we will... Now this mine, we've got a bunch of limestone in there. So this mine is going to face, I guess, that direction. I like to do nice right angle turns. Learned that one from John Bain again. He's pretty awesome and taught me a lot about how to do building in this game. Let's go ahead and put the conveyor wall here. Now let's see, we're going to need to merge, right? So we're going to put a merger here. Is that in the middle? It's not. Pull it back one. These are so hard to center by eye. I think that does it. Yep. And then that will go into the merger. And then coming out of the merger is going to be the Mark II. Now the other thing we want to do here, connect that power line. And we really don't need all of these. Those are connected so we can take that one down. So that guy's going to start going. So now let's see, I got to build my way down there just so that I can see what I'm doing down here. So we're going to bring a Mark I lift, right, like this, to there, and then the conveyor belt goes in, and then off we go. And now we have the limestone coming from over there. You can see it coming, and we're going to have the limestone coming from here. And now everything that comes out will be the Mark II belts, which I'm going to set these on 0 for now because I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Oh, I touched the wrong key. I hate when I do that. I meant to go sideways and I hit E instead. I always can see it better with just the conveyor pole for whatever reason. And so now we're going to be getting all this limestone going back to the base, which will get us a lot more concrete back at the base. And eventually we will start kind of running out of the concrete here as we empty out the storage containers. But that's fine, because we're going to be doing most of our building at the other base. And so what happens is with the Mark I conveyor belts, if you're building like this, you can stay ahead of them pretty easily. With the Mark II conveyor belts, you're going to end up with them like backing up because they come a little too fast for you to do this without kind of getting behind, you know. So now we're actually staying a bit ahead of it, which is good. And the idea is once I hook this up, we will be able to run back to the base with the truck. We should stay way ahead of it doing that. And then we will be able to just hook this all up, and we've got constructors waiting, and then we'll have 4 constructors working on all of this stuff. So you can see the reason it's high is there's the truck. I want to be able to drive under that to go to that side, and I don't want to have to like come off the bridge and then go around this way or something like that if I need to. I really wish you could permanently get rid of the land whales and all the other spawns just so they stop interfering with my base. I really wish you could do that. I wish there was at least an option. Alright, so as you can see, because this is higher, I changed this here. It's now coming in up here and going down to this level, and then it just goes all the way to the other side. So now we got to just run down to the other side. So now we're getting the limestone coming in from both of these mines. It's being belted all through here, and now we're going to race it to the actual base after I get some more concrete and other stuff, right? Because we have room in our inventory now. And then the other thing I got to do is dismantle the constructors and all the other stuff over here, but I'm going to leave that one constructor because I think the limestone mine was going so fast that the storage container is nearly full of, nearly full of limestone. Alright, so the limestone is going to head up. And this is the 2-meter incline. You can imagine how hard this thing would have getting up the 4-meter incline. And I gotta fix that turn. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do on these inclines. I'm gonna have to play around with the design and see what it's gonna look like. We'll just have to see. But I definitely think it looks better supported, you know. And so we're going to have to do that. It maybe every other one of these walls I'll put a a support pillar, unless we end up running the conveyor belts underneath. And I'm just putting this there so that we don't accidentally drive off as we turn, because we really don't want to fall from here. Alright, I'm sick of this tree, so while I'm here, I'm just going to go down and cut it off. And then we'll pick our ramp back up. I can't stand it, so I want to go get rid of it. Now, hopefully it won't come back. One of the issues with some of the trees in one of the other spots near the grassy area is they just kept growing back, certain ones. And I actually had a really cool base planned out, and I gave up on it. This was, like a year ago. I gave up on it because the stupid trees kept coming back, and it annoyed me, you know, that there was a tree growing out the middle of my base. Now there is a pig beast down here, so we're going to have to shoot him. A couple pig beasts. They're super cowardly, though. If you shoot them without them being able to reach you, they just run away. And I guess that's programmed so that you don't exploit. But, like, I'm really not interested in fighting them over and over again. I'm really not. I really wish you could change the setting on that. I think we're low enough that I can just get over there and... I hate that it turns. The first one you do goes the direction you want, and then the next one turns, and then it remembers, which is really weird. That's it. That's all I want to do is cut this tree down. I'm not interested in fighting pig beasts. Although I can probably kill them now. That's one. And that's two. Alright, so that got the tree that I wanted to get, right? No, I didn't want to do that. And now I'm falling. That's great. Okay, well, we can build our way back up. So now by the time we get back there, the limestone should be most of the way back to the base using the Mark II belts, which go pretty quickly. Let's see if I can get all this from up here. Looks like it, yeah. I gotta tell you, the multi-delete is wonderful. Yep, there comes the limestone, so now we gotta race it back. Now we're not going to merge this with the other limestone that's right over to the left there. We're passing the Caterium, but further up there's the rest of the limestone. We're not going to merge that because our belt can't go fast enough and it'll just back up. So I have that on another. That's why I have this on another level. It's higher, and it's just going to go all the way to the base. And then we're going to start feeding 2 more constructors. Oh. Accidentally hit that. I guess what I should have done was made this 3 wide. And if I had done that, then we could use the middle one to go up and down and to get out, essentially. I could still do something like that. We'll see. Alright, so we stopped here. And I did not get extra concrete back there, did I? But I should be okay on the conveyor belts. I don't think we don't need that much to get back, I don't think. Yeah, we're here. Alright, so we need to put up one of these. We should be alright from here. And now we've got like a double-decker limestone feed coming in. How long has this episode been? 33 minutes. Alright, so I will show you this, and then I'm going to pause it. I'll bring you over to the smelters, and then we will end the episode. But let's finish this up. Okay, so now I've got to add more of these things. So I will be back, guys, as soon as I've got this finished up. I will see you in a moment. Alright, guys, we are back. And, we've got our limestone coming in here. This is our second one, right? So it's going to shoot over here, come down into here. That's pretty ugly, so I'm going to probably play with that. It's going to come out this way, and now we have these 2 constructors who've been just sitting here waiting, just waiting for limestone to make cement for us. And then it'll be going into this array of storage containers, and we may want to make, you know, even more of them, like another row out here, or I might, I don't know, split it and have it come this way. We'll see. Alright, we're going to start really filling this up, but we have 4 of these, so it should go pretty slowly, and I'm going to be using a lot of concrete to make the base. So let's see How close is our limestone? Is it coming? It's right down there. So I'll pause it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all together. Alright guys, here we go. The limestone has come in and is shooting out through here, and now we're going to double our production, more than double it, as it shoots into these constructors, and then they start making concrete for us. Right? And then it's all going to be coming out at pretty much max speed and going into these 4 storage containers. And if we need more, I can stack some on top and so forth. But you can see how we're going to get tons and tons of concrete coming out now. So instead of having like gaps, right, you're going to start seeing it become like a solid mass as more and more concrete comes out. So this is going to fill up very quickly. Let me take you over to the smelters and, let me show you the Caterium. So the Caterium is coming in here. It's already backing up. I mean, my gosh, this is going to stop soon, or nearly stop, because these guys use 45 Caterium per minute, but it's coming in at 120, so we're only using 90, so it's backing up. And they then run the Caterium over here, and this is going to start backing up again. We have buffers. They run the Caterium over here, and these 2 constructors make quick wire, and they run the quick wire into here, and this is going to fill up very quickly because they make it really fast. Now this is not obviously permanent. The idea is this is the storage floor, so the Caterium, these actual containers of Caterium are going to have just raw Caterium ore on this floor. The next floor up will have the smelters, and however many smelters we need will be up there. And then the next floor above that will be where the constructors are. So ultimately what's going to happen is these guys are going to be sending stuff up. And probably what I'm going to do is stack them a couple high, bring it back, and run up the outside walls so that we don't have holes in the middle of the floor and stuff like that. But I haven't worked any of that out yet because I'm just trying to get the quick wire made. Meanwhile, over here we have the beginnings of a smelting floor, and you can sort of see what I'm working on. And we're probably going to have animals over here because these mines have been stopped for a while because there's just nothing for them to do right now because I don't have metal plates and screws and stuff being made yet. We also have the awesome sink, which has been getting tons and tons of crystal dumped into it. And the awesome sink has given us some more coupons, so that's good. Oh, great. Alright, let's do that. There we go. And we can pick up some more coupons. We should have a bunch now. We have 12. Yay! We can get windowed walls. I definitely want that. And we can get pipeline attachments, and let's go ahead and buy those. Alright, so now we can build windowed walls. I don't know what those take for resources. So that's cool. I mean, I like this, right? So there's a window. And you can also make these. And you can also make these. So I gotta figure out, I think these are really cool, and I'm gonna use them, this one, along our sky bridge. But that's for later. As right now we just got to get things worked out so that it's actually functional. You can see that I've got almost the entire bottom floor built. There's a little bit of space over there still, but otherwise it's done. So here's what I did over with this mine. And let's start at the mines. Hopefully we won't have to fight anything, and then I'll show you what I've got going on. And I've got the beginnings of how I want to design things like the smelting floor worked out. And I can't remember who it was that showed how to do this, so I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do about that. So here are our mines, right? These are 4 pure nodes of iron, right? And eventually I'm gonna probably build out a floor here to make this cleaner, but so we've got all these iron, and they shoot over by the belts, and these Mark II belts, to this very short bridge. It's just going to be 2 high and a few wide. And I've got a little passageway in here. If we want to get inside, we can. Then these come down And this is going to be the smelting floor. These guys go down even further. They shoot down right on these lifts down here. They come across, then they come down, and they go out into our storage. So basically we have so much ore now that all of these storage containers are full. Then coming out of the storage containers, we go into splitters that bring up onto lifts and get onto the smelting floor. So now if we come up onto the smelting floor, and I kind of redid all of this so that you can get here. Onto the smelting floor, what I did was you have to first build all the foundations, you put your power poles on, then you delete the power poles and you can put the ramps. And if you back the smelters up against these foundations, you can put a lift straight down, right? And so now we have lifts bringing up stuff, and we have this nice kind of tight configuration. And what I want to do is make the same configuration on the other side for all, so the miners are producing 120, the smelters can do 30 each, so it's 4 smelters per miner, right? And I've got 4 miners, so these are 2 sets, and then the next set of smelters are going to be over here, right, facing this way. And then when they're going to come out to here, right? And this will be where the ingots are, and you can see I already started that here, right? The ingots are then going to come back here, right? And remember, this is now the exterior wall of the building, right? And we're then going to put another 4 high here, and then up there is going to be the floor with the constructors above us, right? And then I'll set up a bunch of constructors, and the constructors will probably be set up in a similar way, although they won't be coming up from below. It's harder to do this with constructors because they're wider and longer, and it doesn't really fit as well, whereas this thing can kind of fit onto just one foundation. The others really can't. The constructors and assemblers and stuff really can't do that. So we're going to have constructors up there, and then I will probably just make assemblers on the same floor for now, but the assemblers are going to be the next floor up. And so basically each tier as you go, you start from ore to the smelted product to the constructor, like 1 item in manufacturing, then 2 item in manufacturing, then 3 item in manufacturing, and each floor will be that different tier. So that's the plan, but I'm not going to do any more of that now. I'm going to stop for now. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Satisfactory.